So it's that time of year again. It is time for top 10 lists. Today I'm doing my top 10 watches of 2021. Very simple rules. 10 watches that came out during 2021 and were available for purchase in 2021. That's it. All different price ranges as I have on my channel all the time. So from affordable to the not so affordable. And I'm going to get right into it with my number one pick. And really these are in no order. It just so happens that I listed them out this way. But the first one on my list is the Bulova Millships Limited Edition. Ironically, a watch that I also purchased. So the Bulova Millships is a reissue of a watch that actually was never made. I thought it was really good looking when they came out with it. I've seen vintage versions on Instagram a few times and I was always very intrigued by them. It has a 16mm lug width, which is very true to the original design. And what they did here was very true to the original watch. Everything is almost exactly the same, except you're getting a sapphire crystal and it says Swiss made on the dial. Now, if you get the standard edition actually doesn't say Swiss made on the dial, so it's even closer to that original. But I like the Swiss made version. You're getting a Sellita movement. It's 41mm. You get that 16mm lug width, but I think it's a really awesome looking tool watch. You also get a loomed bezel in the Swiss version. Not that big of a deal, but I really love this watch. That's why it's on my top 10 list, and I had to have it, so I did buy it. It wasn't cheap, and I think that's probably the biggest flaw with this watch, in my opinion, is the price. It was $1,900. Very expensive. Even that standard edition, very expensive, $900. But still, I really like what Bulova did here. They did not take the bait of what they normally do and oversize the watch, change many things, and not come out with a very faithful re-edition. And they did it here. They came out with something very faithful, and I'm very happy they did that. So the second watch on this list is a watch that I did not purchase, but if I had the money, I would have, or if I had the opportunity, because these immediately sold out once they were released. I am talking about the Vacheron Overseas Everest dual time and chrono that was inspired by the Vacheron Overseas Corey Richards. So this is the Everest dual time and the Everest chrono. They made 150 of each and they immediately sold out. These were in titanium and they were inspired by the watch that was worn by Corey Richards when he attempted to climb Mount Everest. He actually was not successful doing that climb. However, the watch that he was wearing was a Vacheron Overseas dual time, and it became a very, very popular watch with people who like Vacheron. As you guys know, if you are familiar with my channel, I love Vacheron. I love the Overseas, and obviously this was a very, very popular watch. They sold out all 300 immediately. There was no waiting list. It just immediately sold. I think they're probably going to come out with a titanium version of the Vacheron Overseas pretty soon. This was just a test of the waters. They've already come out with a few different versions in titanium. The Series 2 was in titanium, now the Series 3. I think that they're going to come out with a standard version in titanium. I really hope they do, because I think it looks really great in titanium. Next on this list is a watch that literally just came out. That is the Timex Giorgio Galli S138. I loved this watch when it was originally released in the 41mm format. I bought the one with the silver dial. I ended up selling it for one reason or another to fund another watch. However, I thought that the case was really special. It was an injection molded case, stainless steel of course, but it had these scooped out sides or cut out sides, hollow lugs, beautiful sunray silver dial, sort of little etched out minute track, and then you have applied indices. Beautiful watch in 41mm. However, what they did was they came out with it in 38mm. They upgraded it to a sapphire crystal because the previous version came with a K1 mineral crystal, a big complaint from a lot of people, and they downsized the case to 38mm. Huge upgrade for this watch for a lot of people with smaller wrists and people with medium-sized wrists who want a 38mm dress watch. This is a really good looking dress watch from Timex, and now it gets a sapphire crystal in 38mm, and also it's powered by a 9039 Miyota, which means that it hacks, it hand winds, and it doesn't have a ghost date position, and there is no date. So this is a no date dress watch, just really good looking, Very well executed. They came out with 3 different colors. Blue is my favorite. I'm buying one. I think this is a great everyday dress watch for someone who doesn't want to spend a ton of money but wants something that looks amazing. And this watch looks and feels amazing. I know that from firsthand. I really do love this watch. And I was actually sad when I sold my 41mm. I'm going to get a 38mm. I'm very excited about it. Next on my list is a watch that actually has already made one of my other lists. This is the Seiko Presage Sharp Edge GMT. When this watch was actually announced, I was very excited about it. I wanted to buy one. And I'm glad that I have held off until now to buy one because prices have significantly come down on them. When they originally were released, they were actually selling slightly above their asking price, which I thought was crazy. Now the prices have come down. Beautiful textured dials on these. You have a 24-hour bezel. Really a very interesting offering from Seiko because it is a mechanical, true GMT. So this is a traveler's GMT, not an office GMT like a lot of GMTs that we see with ETA movements and Soprod movements. This is a true GMT movement, and it really isn't that expensive when you're considering it. It's sort of like a baby Grand Seiko GMT. 42.5mm, I believe this watch was. The bracelet isn't all that great, but it's a very good looking watch for what you're paying for, that $1,400. I think it's a very good price at that. And now they're selling for around $800 or $900 on eBay. That is a steal in my opinion. You really can't get a true GMT anywhere from any major brand for that price. Anyway, next watch is another watch that I purchased. It is the Hamilton Khaki Pilot Pioneer 38, another 38mm watch. Seeing a little bit of a pattern here. This really hit home with me when I first saw it. I really loved the dial. It has a sand textured dial, 38mm, rotating bezel that had, I think it was a K1 mineral crystal in it. You get a sapphire crystal, of course. It gets the Powermatic 80 or the equivalent. It has an 80-hour power reserve. At a movement inside, you could see it from the back. Really beautiful pilot's watch inspired by a vintage pilot's pocket watch. Very cool inspiration. Didn't look that much like the pocket watch, but I really did like the watch itself. They did a great job with it. So much so that I went and I bought one. And I really do love the watch. I think it's very good looking. And it's one of these things where they actually came out with it in a really good size. They showed restraint with the actual watch itself, the design. They really took their time and designed the watch to be very straightforward and very good looking. They did some quirkiness with that bezel, which is like a 50-click bezel, which is very, very strange. So there are issues with the watch, but not that many. And I think it's a very good looking watch, as I mentioned. So I was able to look past that. It is around $1,000, so it is on the more expensive side. But if you compare it to that Bulova Mill ships that I was talking about before, it's half the price. So it's almost the same amount of watch. So not a bad price when considered. Now, the next watch on my list is probably a watch that will make a lot of people's lists this year. It is the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80, a watch that, again, I bought because I thought it looked amazing. I bought the blue dial. I actually bought originally the quartz version of it. I sold that, and then I bought the automatic version when it was announced. I knew that they were going to announce it, and when they did, I was very excited about it. They put a hobnail dial on it. I bought the blue dial. They made 3 different colors, blue, black, and then a cream or champagne colored white dial. And then now they're coming out with a gold version, so you're getting a gold bezel on it. So there's 4 different versions of it now. However, the one that I like the most is the blue dial. That's the one I bought. Beautiful bracelet. Really great dimensions. Again, I think it's around 39mm if memory serves me correct. Powermatic 80, which you could see from the back, quick release on the bracelet. Just really an AP Royal Oak for affordable money. It looks a lot like an AP Royal Oak. A lot of people said it looked like a Zenith Defy as well. The classic, that blue dial. It does look like that as well. Just a good looking watch for $650. And it's from a major brand, Tissot, a brand with history. You really cannot go wrong with this watch. In fact, I think no matter what kind of collector you are, this is really a great watch to have in your collection, just in case you want to wear a watch that isn't too flashy, but you want something that looks really good still and is made very well. This is a watch that you would buy. It's an all-around great watch. Really, that's all you could say about this watch. It's really fantastic. Anyway, next watch on the list is Wicked Watch Co. Wicked Watch Co. sent over their bronze diver for review, and I was very, very impressed. They used Lumicast on the dial, which was basically solid blocks of lume for the indices, and it was the brightest lume that I've ever seen on any watch. Of course, it had a bronze case, which was really nice. The name Wicked on the dial. The case that it came with, the packaging that it came with, was really top-notch. It had a Swiss-made movement in it. I believe it got the STP 111, and it was very affordable. I don't remember the exact price, but I want to say it was in the $400 to $500 range. I know the price will eventually go up, but as of when I was making that video, it was in that range. And then they made an NH35 version that was in the $300 range, and it was basically the exact same packaging. You got extra straps with it, tools, just a beautifully made watch as well. The bezels had these sort of domed bezels, so they were actually, you get a domed sapphire crystal, but you also got a domed bezel on it, which was just a curved bezel. It looked beautiful. Really well-made watches for an excellent, excellent price, considering the packaging, considering everything. I don't know how they make money on those watches. I was very, very surprised. When they sent it to me, the packaging blew me away, and then the watch blew me away for a second time. Next on the list is maybe not that popular with some people, maybe very popular with others. I know I called my AD for the first time, and I say my AD, it was just an AD that's local to me. I don't really have a relationship with an AD, but I called up my local AD here and I said, hey, do you guys have the Tudor Pelagos FXD Marine Nationale in stock? And of course, they never called me back. However, I am still going to try and get one. I was really excited when they announced it. They downsized the Pelagos just a little bit in thickness, which I thought was a very, very important upgrade to that watch. And then, of course, they put those fixed bars instead of spring bars. They put bars that actually affixed to the lugs. So that's how you actually put the straps on there. You put single pass through NATOs. I'm completely okay with that. I just thought this was a really cool blue. I really like the blue that they used. I like the case dimensions in general. I really like the Pelagos. I like Tudor in general. I already own a Tudor. I own the P01, one of my favorite purchases from this year. And I really do want to add another Tudor to my collection. So the Tudor Pelagos could be that Tudor. I'm not sure yet. And it would be the FXD Marine Nationale because that's the one I really like. So I'm still going to try and get one. We'll see what happens. Next on the list was a watch that was lent into the channel that I was really hard letting go. And it was the Zelos Mirage 8-Day with the Le Jour Perret movement in it. I fell in love with this watch when it was sent over. It came in a giant leather case with an extra strap. Never mind the casing. I just thought that Elshan, the owner of Zelos, did a great job with this watch. Sapphire dial, sapphire on the front, sapphire on the back, lume on the front, lume on the back, all titanium, hard coating throughout the whole entire case and bracelet, bezel, crown, the whole 9 yards. I just really liked it because it was very affordable, around $3,000, $3,500, somewhere around there. And he made a really good looking watch that was very different with an 8-day power reserve, hand wound movement, something that no micro brand is doing. He's making these halo watches. He's coming out with really awesome watches that not only are good looking, but are functional and really, well made. That's what he's known for now, is making really well-made watches. And it's taken some time to get there, but they're there and they are pretty awesome, these watches. And this is just one of those sort of halo watches that he's making. He's making tourbillons and chronographs, but he's also making affordable watches at the same time. And I said this is sort of the prelude to the watch that I really want to see from them, and that is a watch powered by the new Le Jour Perret automatic movement that is sort of in competition with Etta, Sellita, and STP. I really want to see that movement in a dive watch, and of course, Elshan will be the first one to do it, I know. And I think that will be really cool, and that'll be a watch to get. Last but not least on this list is the Zenith Chronomaster Sport, a watch that was also a little bit controversial because of its resemblance to the Rolex Daytona. However, I think this is a gorgeous watch. I think it retails for around $10,000 or just under $10,000. Beautiful ceramic bezel, white dial, sub-registers that are in 3 different colors, beautiful bracelet on it, El Primero movement. I think it's a 1/100th chronograph, second chronograph, so a really interesting chronograph to look at when it's in action. I think that they hit it out of the ballpark here, and obviously they are taking a little bit of inspiration from Rolex, but they also are sort of involved with Rolex through their selling of the El Primero movement to Rolex for use in the actual Daytona. So there's a little bit of a relationship there. I don't think it's a big deal that it looks like the Daytona. In fact, I think this is really cool. I think it's better looking than the Daytona, in my opinion. I think the Daytona is a very good looking watch, very classic looking watch. This sort of takes it to the next level, that design, in my opinion. But I think it did cause a lot of controversy. I actually made a video about it when it came out. Beautiful watch, beautiful design, pretty good price. It's on the more expensive side, but you're getting something that's actually pretty special. Tell me what you guys think about that watch. I think that was the one that I was a little bit on the edge with for me, but that's really it. And then I just wanted to mention two other watches that I actually purchased this year. And these were my favorite watches that I reviewed on my channel, basically, and they were 2 watches that I purchased, and I was super excited to review them. One I've already mentioned, that was the Tudor Black Bay P01 that I purchased. A really weird looking watch. I got such a great price on it. I put the bracelet on there. It was a bracelet from a 41mm Black Bay. Threw it onto the P01. Fit perfectly. Didn't look that great, but fit really nicely. I wouldn't say perfectly, but it fit really nicely, and it transformed the look of the watch. And I've worn it on both a strap and a bracelet. And it really is one of the coolest watches in my collection, one of the most interesting watches in my collection. And I think it's a watch that does not get enough credit. And I think that is just going to be a future classic or a future dud. I don't know. But I really do love it. And then, of course, my most recent purchase, and that is the Omega Seamaster 300 Trilogy 1957. What a beautiful watch. I do not regret selling my Planet Ocean. It was 45mm, 45.5mm. It became too big for my wrist. I was not comfortable wearing it. It actually physically hurt my wrist. I made the decision to sell it, and then I was going for the 41mm Seamaster 300 Heritage, and then I saw this watch, and I could not resist. I got it for a great price. Beautiful, beautiful watch. Everything about it I love. And those were the 2 basic purchases that I made this year, major purchases that I made this year. Did not make many other purchases. I bought a Bulova, I bought a Hamilton, I bought a couple other small micro brands here and there, but not a ton of watches this year. I kind of held off. But those were 2 major purchases for me. But other than that, that was really it. Those were my top 10 watches, and then an extra 2 there that were actually purchases, maybe not 2021 watches, just purchases that I made. Those were watches that were actually for sale prior to 2021. Anyway, tell me what you guys think of this list. Tell me what you think of the 10. Tell me what you think of the 2 that I bought as well. I'd like to hear what you guys think of those watches as well. I'd love to hear from you guys. Also, I want to say, happy holidays to everybody. Happy New Year coming up in just a few weeks. I just wanted to wish everybody a happy, safe, and healthy New Year, Christmas, any holiday that you are celebrating. I just wanted to wish everybody a happy one and a healthy one. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. And thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.